Years of preparation have finally led us to this wonderful event as we are gathered here at the Plaza Cebu to celebrate the quincentennial commemoration of Christianity in the Philippines. 500 years ago, Father Pedro de Valderrama baptized our local tribal leader and around 800 Visayan natives to form the first Catholic community here in the Philippines. And we are about to witness this reenactment here today. My name is Andrea Patania Matthew, and this is MyTV Cebu's special coverage of the 500 years of Christianity celebration in the Philippines. The entire celebration opened last Easter Sunday, which was held simultaneously in all parishes of the Archdiocese of Cebu. This was when the Jubilee Cross was unveiled and blessed, and the declaration of the opening of the Year of Grace was read. A Triduum celebration was then held from April 11 to 13 at the Archdiocesan Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe, where 100 children were baptized, the National Shrine of St. Joseph with a confirmation of 100 faithful, and at the National Shrine of Our Lady of Rule, where an adult baptism was held. There was also a motorcade procession of the Jubilee Cross and the image of Senior Santo Niño in Cebu City, Talisay City, Lapu-Lapu City, and Cordova, and nightly cultural events during the 3 days. The main event on April 14 started with a presentation by the performers from the San Diego Dance Company. This began with a reenactment of trade between natives and the Chinese. Then, they showed how natives worshipped anitos until the Christian missionaries arrived on board the Spanish fleet led by Ferdinand Magellan. The main highlight was the reenactment of the first baptism, which happened on April 14, 1521 by Father Pedro de Valderrama, the chaplain of the expedition. Chieftain Raha Humabon, his wife Hara Humamay, and at least 800 natives were baptized as Catholics, and Humabon and Humamay were given the Christian names of Carlos and Juana. This was also when the image of the Senior Santo Niño was offered as a baptismal gift. Magellan also ordered the display of a large cross for veneration in the middle of the piazza, now known as Plaza Cebu, which is now referred to as the famous Magellan's Cross. Only a maximum of 700 people were allowed to witness the event in order to maintain safety health protocols. Tight security was also implemented within the vicinity. After the performance, rain poured on the Plaza Cebu grounds, but this did not stop the faithful from finishing the day's celebration. The sky cleared just in time for the Pontifical Mass, officiated by Apostolic Nuncio to the Philippines, Archbishop Charles Brown, concelebrated by Cardinal Orlando Quevedo, Archbishop Jose Palma, and Bishop Medefil Billones. The Mass was attended by priests, government officials, and representatives from the different parishes of the Cebu Archdiocese. Before the processional, the Jubilee Cross was placed inside the Magellan's Cross. Both crosses are made of tindalo wood, while the image of Senior Santo Niño was brought to the altar.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son,
in his homily, Archbishop Brown highlighted the beautiful Catholicism in the Philippines, which he described as distinctly Filipino.
We see the results of that process in countless elements of Filipino Catholicism. Simbang Gabi Masses, for example. Today, in a special way, we see that process in our devotion to the Santo Niño. Even his name is in Spanish. As Pope Francis recently commented in his video message to you on the anniversary, the 500th anniversary of the evangelization of the Philippines, the Pope said this: the tender love of the Santo Niño is a symbol of the arrival of Christianity in your archipelago. Yes, devotion to the Holy Child, Jesus, to the infant of Prague, began in Europe and then came to the Philippines, where it has been transformed into a typically Filipino devotion, so beautifully evident in your annual Sinulog Santo Niño festival here every year in Cebu.
He also gave emphasis to the Filipinos' devotion to Señor Santo Niño and how overseas Filipino workers are instrumental to the spread of the Catholic faith throughout the world.
Filipino Catholics who are not explorers or adventurers or colonizers, but in many cases overseas Filipino workers, bringing with them their Catholic faith and their tender devotion to the Santo Niño to every corner of the world today. So I ask you, do you reject sin so as to live in the freedom of God's children?
I do.
During the Mass, 7 children were baptized by Archbishop Brown, including 13-year-old Milby, an indigenous child who is a member of the Aita. His mother Rosemary expressed her joy upon receiving the invitation for this opportunity.
Napasalamat ko nga ipapil ko siya kay libre man. Wala man may kwarta nga gasto. Di man na lang aning dawat man pud nila si San Milby. Di pasalamat ko nalipay ko nga may pakita na ko sa maestra nga restro bunyag. Ana ba para sa iya kayuhan.
12-year-old French Cedric was also among those baptized, accompanied by his mother Eda.
Sa man nimong nabati?
Lipay.
Unsa man nimong pagampo sa Ginoo?
May panglawas.
Sa paman?
Nora. Nalipay ko, proud kay ko nabunyagan ang akong anak. May pasinta lang ko sa pare nga maapil ko aning bunyag. Para mabunyagan akong anak, kaya waman sa bunyag.
After the Mass and baptism, Archbishop Brown venerated the Jubilee cross and the image of the Holy Child, followed by the singing of the Bato Balani and another performance by the San Diego dancers. Indeed, this month's celebration will be stamped on the pages of history books as 500 years of Christianity proves how our faith has transcended its colonial history and that it has already been integrated in the culture and identity of Filipino Christians who still choose to practice and live by the Catholic faith. This has been Andrea Patania Matthew for MyTV Cebu.